Hello, this is Annie with Seed System Solution, and in this video, I will show you how to build a purchase order and receive a purchase order. If you do not see any of the options listed in this video, please contact an admin user within your organization for assistance. To create a new purchase order, you have a few different options. The first is with the Add menu. You should see an option for purchase order. Otherwise, within your main menu, you can go to the purchase order list. You can enter a criteria, select new here to create a new, or OK to view your list. From your list, you can select new from the hamburger menu. There is also an option on the vendor detail page from the purchase order tab. Once you're on the purchase order, if a vendor is not already set, you can select your vendor by clicking the magnifying glass and selecting your vendor. From there, some information may populate based on settings on your vendor account. If you know which warehouse location this seed will be delivered to, you can select that now under the Deliver To address. If you don't know this information right now, you don't have to enter it. It can be added later at the time of receiving or anytime before that. Your other information here on the left side is all optional except year. Year does need to be the year that the seed will be reported into. To add a new line to the purchase order, you're going to go to the Line Items tab, and then you're going to select the plus button. You can then search for your product using the filter or any of the drop-down options. Once you enter your filter criteria, you're going to see options populate in your list. You can start with a generic product if this is early on in the season, or you can assign a very specific product. You can always change this or add products later on. Once you've selected your product, the only other thing you have to do at the time of entry is to enter the quantity to purchase. You can enter your price if known, as well as select the estimate box if this is just an estimated price at this time. If you see a price next to the entry box, that's the last purchase price that you paid for this PO or for this product on a other PO. You can then add notes. The allocate to customer would be if you are buying the seed directly for a customer specifically and you don't want it to be shipped to anybody else. The allocation will narrow that down and you can only ship or deliver the seed to that client or that customer. The special order doesn't reserve the inventory for that customer. However, you can get an email sent when it's received to that customer so they know that it came in. The field ID, this is if this vendor is a grower and you want to link these costs to a production field, you can select that field ID. You can also link costs on a bill later on. Lot, location, location of warehouse, weight, seed count, none of that information is needed at initial time. That's information you would enter at receiving, but you can enter it right now if you do know that information. Otherwise, you can choose your save option. If you ever need to edit a line later on down the line, you have a few options. You can select the line. You can then choose the trash icon to delete or the edit pencil to edit information. You can then search for new products, change that information, and select the continue button. If you need to split this line into other lines because your quantities have changed or you need to change the product, you can find a split option within the information icon of that product line. You would just select the split and it's going to ask you for the new quantity. You will ask if you want to save your lot information you have entered or clear that lot information. When you have all your purchase order lines entered, you can leave that purchase order using the back logo. There is no save. To edit a line or to go back in to receive it, you can do that two ways. You can do that from the purchase order list by selecting the purchase order number and going into it. A useful report can be found under Menu, Reports, it may be found under vendors payable, inventory, or purchases, depending on your menu setup. And it is called the purchase order detail report. Within that report, you have a lot of filter criteria, but if you searched for the year and the status open, or specific venue, or a specific PO number, and then you can press apply, and you're going to see a list of any open purchase order lines that you have if your status was set to open. And from there, to receive it, you can click on the purchase order number. Then to receive the PO, you are going to go to the Receive tab. And to create a new receiver, you're going to hit the plus. To edit an existing receiver, you would see the receiver number and the edit pencil. You would then want to fill in your date for receiving, your bill of lading information if you want to link a bill of lading number to this receiver from the vendor. And then if you will receive the whole line, you're just going to hit the plus button. Otherwise, if you only want to receive a partial quantity, you would use the split. Again, you're going to be asked for that quantity, and if you want to save any existing lot information or clear the lot information. If you split the quantity, you're going to see the existing line change to that new quantity, and then a new line added with the new quantity that's left over. Then you would hit the plus. From here, to receive, you do need to have a location filled out, a lot, and you can fill in your weight based on typing in a weight or entering a seed count for a calculation. This is your last time to enter a price. Once the line has been received, you cannot adjust this price. I will discuss how to account for different prices on a bill later on in the process. So from here, you would set your location. If you have your bin location, you can enter that. You do need a lot. Seed count, if you enter that in, when you tab out, it is going to do a weight calculation. If you need to override it, you can. Grade size is if you are tracking grade on just received products and not in your actual product description, you would enter that grade now. Same thing with treatment. This is for treatment received, specifically on corn. If you don't have a treatment in your product, but you want to track what treatment was received on that corn, you can enter that here. And then once you have your information entered, you would press continue. If the receiving process went correctly, then the line will turn green. If it does turn red, that means there was an error at some point in time. If you need to unreceive that line, so there was something in error and you need to make adjustments, if this line has not been added to a bill, or if you have the quantity available of your line quantity in that inventory line that was created, you can unreceive it. To do that, you would just press the X and it will reverse that process. If you can't unreceive it, you will receive an error telling you why. You do have the ability to enter quality data from this point if you want. You can use that arrow to enter the quality information. The genetics information is just if anything needs to be overridden. Otherwise, it will pull genetics from the genetics table. You do have the option in your hamburger menu to delete this receiver if there's no lines on it, or to export it. If there is lines on it, you also are going to see the option to print the receiver. From here, there is no additional save. You can just use the back logo to exit the receiver, as well as the back logo to exit the purchase order, and it will take you back to whichever report or menu that you started on. If you have any questions about Seed System Solution, you can reference our other training videos, email us at grow@seedsystem.co, or register for one of our free monthly Seed System Support Zoom meetings.